All right. Oh, that's better. Okay, we have a great show for you tonight. I feel like I'm on the Tonight Show. We got video, we got a PowerPoint. It's great stuff. But first off, welcome everybody to our presentation on Nourishing Bethesda. I'm John Ross, I'm the Director of Nourishing Bethesda. And our Deputy Director, Beth Campbell, is here too. So we're going to take some questions at the end. We're going to have some testimonials, all sorts of things. So many friends in the audience, so many volunteers that we work with every week. Thank you all for coming. And we'll be sure to get to questions. We have a lot of fun stuff to get through. And we're going to start it off, if we can pull it up, with a video that I did that our very own parishioner Jay Mallon shot for the Christian. The diocese started a new school in Christian leadership and spiritual development. And this is to begin one node. So we did it. I thought this was a really nice way kind of to start it out. This is on site, as you'll see, talking about our Christian faith and feeding people. So this is just a couple minutes, so enjoy.
There we go. And then.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
We've been handing out food to people in need in our community, and we wanted to tell you how it started. As I said,
I'm trying.
Just like.
It's Halloween.
I think it might be an issue with the stairs, but.
Yeah. Sarah had to leave a little early today because he's still feeling a little sick. We went to it. Which is fun because that's personally it seemed to suggest it. Okay. Well, we're going to skip the video. Yes, it's on YouTube, and we need to get that. See how I can get that. See how we can get that. And it might be on, yeah, I don't think it's on the website. But the upside is on this video, I won't try to go through all that again.
That's not me.
I'm thinking I can probably just speak without amplification.
Maybe if you use the frontal mic, that'd be really good, actually. Okay, so.
Is that the full screen? That one?
Yep. It should be this one down in the corner here.
I'm really interested in people who are watching the voicemail. Can hear me.
There we go.
I once had it for my book about a year ago, two years ago, my PAL book, you know, I'm a writer, and I was out at the Grand Canyon in this huge amphitheater that was, it was inside, but it was twice the size of this to 600 people, and their sound went out, and I had to do it without amplification. And if you've ever tried to shout for 35 minutes, it's a lot of fun. Anyway, so I'll start. I wanted to talk to you guys, we wanted to talk to you guys about how an idea becomes a growing, vital part of our community, how it develops. And
Okay.
I want to take us first back to the early days of COVID. Seems like ancient history now. But you'll remember we were all at the beginning really wanting to thank our first responders. That was before this really got into everybody's kind of life. We wanted to do that. And the Men's Ministry Committee, just a handful of us, got together and said, well, we should do something. So we thought, okay, we will give a lunch to Suburban Hospital, to the whole emergency crew, you know, doing the secretaries, the on staff, the security, will do that. And it cost about $700. And so we put out a call. We started a fund called the Helping the Helpers Fund. It was going to cost about $700 to do that. We got everybody to write letters and kids to draw cards so we could do that. And instead of raising $700, we raised $6,000. And we went, wow, there was such an impetus, such a feeling about generosity in our community to reach out. So that pushed us into starting mask making campaigns. Some of you were doing that for Montgomery Hospice, for people in our community, some first responders, children. We did children mask drives. We mounted a hygiene package to give out to people. We did hand sanitizers for ride-on bus drivers. It was great. And as we realized, as we were trying to stick our fingers and our thumbs into all of the holes that were out there, that we felt like that Dutch boy, you know, trying to keep the water. So we kind of thought, wow, as the COVID got worse, it began to lay bare really harsh and severe kind of inequities and problems in our community. We thought maybe we needed to do something more substantial. And in the early phases of the social justice organization action committee that we have now, Ann and Lisa Reisner and I and some others started talking about, okay, what might this look like? So we ended up talking to some of our politicians who put us in touch with some of the food providers. And before you knew it, we were talking about doing a weekly food distribution. It's something we had no experience with. We did not know how we were going to fund it. We didn't know how many people were going to come. It was hard to know what the need was because everybody, of course, says Bethesda has everything. Well, we found out that that's not true. So what happened? We formed a coalition. And it was with Nourish Now, which was a food provider at the beginning of this. The Montgomery County government came in, the Bethesda Chamber of Commerce, the Chevy Chase Rescue Squad, and a big trained baseball local organization doing wonderful things. From the get-go in Nourishing Bethesda, we were convinced that we needed to do a coalition to bring together the private, the public, service and faith communities together in concert, in common cause. We really felt that that was something that we could, that was really our role. We were not operating in a vacuum. This just didn't come because of COVID came up, even though COVID was really kind of the really hastened our decision making. As you all know, and many of you have participated in, we've been involved at St. John's for years in a vision process of just determining what we are going to be and who we are going to be in the 21st century, right? You may recall we came up with some pillars that we were going to be committed to. Socioeconomic injustice and inequities we wanted to take a look at. To begin to talk about the growing seniors in our culture and making sure that we had cross-intergenerational communication. And the third one was creating safe spaces to have hard conversations. But anyway, we've been doing hard work in this community, helped by Sari, of course, guided by Sari, who was adamant and to directing us to our role as Christians into getting out into society and getting out into our community. And as he said today in our sermon, you may have heard about helping others. And the real impetus, and this is what the video is about becoming the hands and feet of our Lord in the community. And so that has been the real motivating factor behind Nourishing Bethesda. So when we opened up in the middle of August of 2020, we did not know how many people were going to come, and we got overwhelmed, quite frankly. And that was only 150 families. Now we're doing 325. It was a miracle. It was like the loaves and the fishes that the money came. People opened up their hearts, their checkbooks. People came up to me who had never met me before and handed me rolls of $100 bills and didn't want their names. They just said, "You're doing good work here." Extraordinary stuff, extraordinary generosity, which was also met by extraordinary in this community of people stepping up to take leadership. We have a 21-person captains who take care of everything from packing to ordering food to traffic safety, you name it. It's a dedicated team. We meet every Monday. You'll find 15 to 20 of us on Zoom for an hour, hour and a half every Monday for the last year plus, talking about what we need to do. And from the get-go, we have been a little different from a lot of food pantries out there who are doing wonderful work. I mentioned the coalition business. And really, as we walk in faith out into our community as Christians, wrestling with who we are and what is our role, we have been proved quite effective, and we were just kind of feeling it as we went, in terms of drawing people who would not be together in concert together and really talking to everyone about the importance of mission, of ethics, of feeding people. So, and two, we were very committed at the same time to this being, even though we don't put the words on this in public, is discipleship. So we are committed equally to feeding people, to building coalitions, but to also giving opportunities for people to volunteer, not just to open their checkbook, but to understand what it's like. Last Friday was out in the rain. That was a wet one. But what it's like to put food into somebody's car or to pack a bag of food, you know, to shop for food, to do all the things that are necessary to do what we do. Because we feel that volunteer discipleship is like a muscle, you gotta use it. And you use it, you realize the agency and the power. Of course, you realize how much more you get out of it than you're giving, but then you want to do more. This is how we build our community. This is how we make our community a kinder, better place, as one person at a time. We have had now on order of 350 unique volunteers who have come through and done things. It's exciting. That's not even to mention the people who have opened up their hearts and checkbooks. That's another 350, 400 people. So we are moving out of the community and giving people the opportunity to focus their talents and their treasures
and to bring good in this world. And also, I'll add up on this before we get to a PowerPoint about what this last year has looked like. I give a talk every time to the volunteers that they are probably sick of hearing me go talking about every week. But we are not just handing out food, unlike a lot of other places. I say just food, that's critical. But we encourage our folks who are doing the interaction with our recipients who line up and wait for hours on many occasions. We want to engage with them. We want to be a part of their life. We are neighbors. We want to be there, whether it's in the pouring rain or the hot or the heat or anything. We are there every week for them. It's kind of like a sacred thing for us, right? We are there for them. They can count on us. And they do count us. We have regulars, and you can see their gratitude. That's not why we're doing it. We're doing it because it could be us, because our community, we are all in this all together. So everybody, we have conversations, we've begun to build relationships with folks. It's very exciting on that front. And that is as critical as anything that we do, as important as food, I believe. So let me turn over the podium to Beth. Yeah, you can take that off. And we have a short kind of overview PowerPoint of the last year, so you can see kind of who we serve, how much we serve, and things that we do.
Thanks, John. Just a couple of things. I'm Beth Campbell. I've been a St. John's parishioner for a little over 20 years. We just recently moved back we were in New York for a couple of years and just recently moved back. So I came to the work of Nourishing Bethesda a little later than everyone else, and found it a great way to reconnect with the community that I care about, and to do, as you said, kind of active volunteering. You know, it was direct and specific, and it felt good to see others. It was also kind of safe. We were outside on the Friday distributions. We're outside, so while we took great care to be careful with COVID and masked and social distancing, it was still just really nice to be able to see other people for a little while and do some good in the world, hopefully. So this slide just kind of, and we mix things up a little bit. This is an August to August perspective on the work that we've been doing. And just that a reminder that our mission is to, provide food and meet people kind of where they are. And mostly with the idea of, dignity, right? There's no judgment. John kind of alluded to a little speech he gives at the beginning of every Friday distribution that, we're not judging. We're here to help. And we do it gratefully and gleefully. Excuse me. We're averaging about 1,200 people through every Friday. And we provide enough food for those families to make multiple meals through the week. Those individuals represent about 315 families. We not only distribute shelf-stable products, we also provide eggs and butter and produce. And we are currently, 300 families through our grab-and-go model on Fridays. We also are doing some off-site deliveries to 3 different organizations here in the Bethesda area. I apologize for kind of the less than clear graphics here. We do track as best we can kind of ages of the people that we're serving. So right now, we're almost 40% of our clients are under 18. Right around 20% are over 60, and almost 42% are anywhere between 19 and 59. There are some other data up here. I'm not as steeped in food insecurity, kind of the research, but there are some things here to highlight. You know, in Montgomery County alone, there were 75,000 food insecure people before the pandemic, which is about 7.5%. There you go. And then the next thing we talk about here is, what does the distribution look like, right? So we're trying to provide as healthy of an option as possible to as many people as we serve. So we're averaging for the last, again, August to August, about almost 14 pounds of shelf-stable food every week, almost 8 pounds of produce, and just a little more than 2 pounds of dairy, eggs and butter on a weekly basis. This is an interesting slide. I think, I mean, a lot of people drive up, obviously 76% of our clients are driving in a car. We have almost 20% of our families that visit on Fridays that are coming either by, walking or taking the bus. I think we have a couple of people that may park and drive up, but, almost 20% of our people are relying on public transportation to access what Nourishing Bethesda is offering. And then about 5% of our population is home delivery. I apologize for the busyness of this slide, but the first thing to notice is that the Bethesda Chevy Chase slice of the pie is a little over 33%. And then the next biggest chunk is from the Silver Spring area. And then Rockville at right around 20%. So we stand, there's a lot of us on the ground on Fridays. There are 2 or 3 people that take data from our clients. We greet them. We want to know who, as much as we can about them. We know their zip codes and what the family dynamic or the family demographic looks like. But it is all handwritten, so we're hopefully moving to a more sophisticated model, and we purchased some software that hopefully gets implemented here soon. This guy right here, his name is Robbie. Can you pronounce Robbie's last name for me? Renault. Robbie Renault is our main contact at the Bethesda Chevy Chase Rescue Squad. He is a modern day MacGyver. He takes care of the facility at the rescue squad. So I don't know if any of you have been upstairs to the party room there. He's the guy that keeps the rescue squad, under control. He also has embraced Nourishing Bethesda in a way that it's just overwhelming. He's there every Friday. He beats you and I there. He's texting us before we're thinking about things, and we couldn't do the work that we're doing. And he's a volunteer. He volunteers his time, and I think, we have some lovely quotes from government folks, Senator Van Hollen and Andrew Friedson. Robbie is saying right here, this is what we're about. It's a great pleasure, not only serving many families in need, but also working alongside such great people. And that's the highlight of my week, is getting to see Robbie. These are all the folks that have helped us. We talked about a coalition. The Montgomery County Police Department come and help every once in a while. These 2 young ladies are from the Church of Latter-day Saints, and they're missionaries, and they're terrific, and they're there every Friday with a smile, and we all just adore them and couldn't do what we're doing without them. That's all I have. Okay.
Well, I just want to thank Beth for putting together all this data. We have to report weekly to the county. And so it's critical that we actually, that we do really get a hold of, okay, who are our clients as best we can. We don't ask for names. We ask for phone numbers. We ask for the number of people in each family, and we ask for the ages, so we can get a real sense of, who we're serving to report on that. I would like to underline what Beth was bringing up about, so we have our coalition members, which are all kind of up to the 30,000 feet. And then we have a series of relationships. These are, this is Sean Gagan, who is the Second district chief, we had a day where police took their day off and volunteered to come in. We have the Metro Rotary who come in, and Bethel down the road did a mitzvah participation, volunteering. We have Kiwanis folks, all sorts of different Rotary people. We have all sorts of wonderful relationships that are brewing, and to run this thing, because we do take about 50 volunteers a week to run this. Right? So chapter 2. This has all been in what we did in the past year, building the building blocks for what we can do. And we came to August after a year. COVID was dying down a little bit. I mean, we're still in it, but it was dying down. But we weren't seeing any changes. If anything, we were seeing things bumping up. We were asked, and we had to think about by the county on whether we wanted to continue. There would have been no shame for operating August to August, a pop-up, right? We did really good work, okay? It hit the need in the community during COVID, fine, pack up our bags and then done. But the county, as well with some politicians, with a lot of people, but in particular, the people we were serving on the ground who we've been getting to know, did not want us to stop. So that pushed us into gear to think about, okay, what would a sustainable, permanent ministry look like on the ground, right? So we have in the whole of the captains, we've been in breakout groups, doing all sorts of things. One of the things we realized, because it's a little rough in terms of the setup, and for instance, last Friday when it rained, we want to get inside, just to make it a little easier on setup, a little easier on the weather, the inclement weather, the heat, the cold, that kind of thing. So we negotiated with our friends at Bethesda Chevy Chase Rescue Squad. I forgot to mention the fun story about why we went there. You know, we just couldn't do it here. This is a neighborhood. We couldn't have 200 cars lining up, right? So we had actually given food in that, remember I was talking about the men's ministry, we're doing all these polyglot kind of different things. Well, we had given meals to the rescue squad, right? Free meals, because these guys came in and their jobs didn't end with COVID. They couldn't stay home. So we brought them food, had a nice relationship with them. So when it came up to kind of kick this into gear, I could call up and knew everybody over there and say, hey, how about it? And they said, sure. So in the same way that we did that, we said, okay, what about, can we move in and have more of an inside relationship with you? So we are moving our packing from the parish hall on Thursday nights as of this coming week to the rescue squad. And in December, we're going to move everything inside. And Beth alluded to what we want to do in terms of getting to know our community even better is get people out of cars and up to talk to us more, right? So we bought this really wonderful software which gives us the capacity to really get people's information nails down. And we're going to move now to Thursday and all Friday. We're going to be open for 10 hours, but you got to get a reservation. Right? So, got to get a reservation and then come in and we'll have food ready for them. Through this, not only do we think we can get to know our people better, but we can begin to think about not needing to even customize it. Because, the little old woman who comes in alone, and we have a 30 or 40 pound package of food, it's a little bit too much for her. But a group of 8 people, who has a big family, they may need a little bit or somebody's diabetic, or somebody has 3 kids under, who are still in diapers, we can work with something like that, right? So we're working on thinking about that. And ultimately, we want to move so we can offer wraparound services, which is the kind of the jargony name for helping people in a myriad, because we have found that food insecurity is just the tip of the iceberg, right? If you're food insecure, which doesn't mean you're starving, which doesn't necessarily mean you don't have access to food all the time. It means that you're not sure where your food is going to come to you, and most certainly don't have access to healthy food. Okay. If you're worrying about that, you're worrying about how you're going to pay your rent. You're juggling. anxiety, depression. It's an ongoing fight to figure out the needs of your family and how your limited dollars are going to pay for it. So by helping to do some wraparound services, we want to move into really, we wouldn't be doing all the services. We would be, talking to social workers, helping people fill out SNAP benefits, helping people with immigration issues, getting them to lawyers, helping if they're eviction, rent problems, paying rent, English as a second language, vocational help. There's so much we can do, and this is a way in to help people further holistically, right? Not just food, not just, oh, they're fed, everything is fine. It's more than that. So I mentioned that we have a reservation system, so we're moving over to this new system. We are also in our commitment to really getting to people in need who can't come out to see us. It turns out that there are a number of Section 8 housing projects of seniors in our community. One particularly is large at Waverly House, and Waverly is just near Roundhouse, right over in East West and Wisconsin. And we deliver, Sharon, 30. We work with 30 families there. We bring them food. They can't get out. Their average income is $10,000 to $11,000. These are folks in need. We've developed a relationship with the Montgomery County Coalition for the Homeless. They do wonderful work. Right here in Bethesda, they have a 32-person permanent transitional housing facility. That's where people are. It's not a shelter. It's where people can live for however long and get the services they need to take the next step in being independent in their life. We bring them produce. We brought them underwear, all sorts of things to support their ongoing effort. And we're looking forward to developing further relationships with them. We're also in partnership with Bethesda Help. Bethesda Help, you'll remember 30 years ago, got a big boost by using our space downstairs. Bethesda Help has been going for 50 years, and we're not wanting to reinvent the wheel. We're going in partnership with them. We're doing a pilot project, and we're bringing produce to Lakeview Apartments, another senior housing facility behind Montgomery Mall in Westlake. And that's exciting. We're looking forward to developing that. So we're really intent on getting to people in need, and believe me, there are a lot. Even though Bethesda, people keep saying, well, there's no need in Bethesda. Well, we're seeing that indeed it's true. There is a great deal of need in Bethesda. Yeah, so I think I'll probably stop there so that we can have, which should be fun. I've asked 3 folks to give us a little bit of a take on just a kind of a personal take on what volunteering at Nourishing Bethesda, kind of means to them. So I'm excited to invite Greg Murdoch up. He's captain of our Thursday night packing, and has been just a wonderful, you can count on him volunteer for these. How long has it been?
It's been a year doing this. So, and I'm one of the co-captain. Nancy Adam also works with me, and I think we do a really nice job of working together. But it's very gratifying to me. I really wanted to help a year ago, sitting watching what was going on in the world, and my work just caused me to stay on Zoom and on phone calls all day, and it was just driving me crazy. This worked out very nicely. Thursday evenings, I can come, I can work, get a little exercise, but also be with friends. And it was mainly St. John's people at first doing the packing, but it's been really great. I know Ann has been great in getting other organizations involved, as we talked about, the Latter-day Saints, a few temples in the areas have joined us. It's really nice. And one thing that has been really nice to watch over the past 6 months or so has been this family from Temple HaShalom. Their son was making his bar mitzvah, and he decided he wanted to do some volunteer work with this. They came, they've worked so hard. They are great. We've really enjoyed having them here. And we got invited to his bar mitzvah last week. Nancy and I went. It was a beautiful service. They talked, they mentioned quite a few times during the service about St. John's and Nourishing Bethesda and what they did. So it was really nice. The only thing that I wasn't crazy about it was 2.5 hours. So I really love our hour service here at St. John's. So we're going to continue doing that. Just to give you an example of what we do during that evening, it's packing bags. It's usually about 15 items. We can have a great crew that sign up, or some just show up, which is some people we know just love coming, and we love having them there. We pack these bags up. I think there was a picture of Robbie with many of the items that we do pack, and we get it done. It usually takes about an hour and a half. We're going to be kind of excited to move over to this new facility. It's going to be an adjustment, but we will get through it. And if you have time, please join us on Thursday nights.
Thank you, Craig. That's awesome. I'd like to invite also next Tom Kennedy. He is co-chair of our traffic division to keep us safe with all of the moving parts. And again, a long-term on the men's ministry committee, and a long-term volunteer, and delighted.
Thank you, John. Thank you all for being here this morning. It's a pleasure to talk with you. For me, getting involved with Nourishing Bethesda was a no-brainer. My late mother, when she retired from school teaching, went to work as a volunteer at a soup kitchen in our hometown. And her role on Fridays was to greet people as they entered. And in a weird way, that's kind of my role with traffic, because I'm at the edge of the entryway when people drive in or walk up. And it gives me the opportunity to say hello to everybody and greet them with a smile, which is what my mother did. And for me, this is just simply an opportunity to live into my faith and my deep belief that we're here on this earth to do good and to bring about God's kingdom. And that the opportunity to do that arises, not rarely, but it arises sometimes in a great way. And this, for me, was that circumstance. I joined John at John's invitation as the men's ministry was starting to do the things that John mentioned earlier. And this has just been a wonderful opportunity to not only give to the community in a profound way, but also engage in fellowship with my fellow parishioners in a profound way. And I cherish that opportunity, and I'm so grateful to have deepened relationships with so many of the folks that I work with on a regular basis. I would simply say it's an extraordinary opportunity to volunteer in this way with Nourishing Bethesda, and I'm grateful for that. I believe generosity and gratitude really go together, and thank you, John. And the only thing else I would say is a side benefit is those of us, Mark, Annalise, who are in Langdon, who are on traffic with me, we get good exercise on Fridays, and that's helpful as well. Thanks, John.
Thank you, Tom. And we have a recorded, and don't know if that's going to be able to, if we're going to be able to do this. Our senior warden, Lisa Reisner, has been really engaged with Nourishing Bethesda since the creation, and wanted to give her a chance. She's in Vermont. Her father tripped and broke his hip, so she's helping him recover. But if we can get Lisa up, we have a very short video of her. Oh, there she is.
Okay, here we go. Fingers crossed, everybody.
Lisa Reisner, everybody.
Unmute. I did. I'm going to pause it for just a second. I don't know why.
Hey, Jay,
Can you help?
Jay, do we have any luck in? Or we should probably not try to do a little video. Well, maybe in the meantime, what I'll do, we'll see if we can get that. It's kind of fun. We'll open up, I know we just threw a lot of information at you, but I'd like to open the floor to any questions you might have about anything. We're game to, and also Greg and Tom. Is Greg still here?
Yeah, we're ready.
Oh, there you are. Okay, good. Or Beth will be happy to take your questions. So, yes. Thank you for asking that.
That's a good
We
question.
didn't get into all of that. It costs about $8,000 a week to buy all the food. We get about, it's about 50-50 in terms of we get 50% of that subsidized by much more. The rest we raise money for. Every donation that we get, and I've been very proud of this, goes 100% to food. Right? There's no overhead. And I've got to be more pressed to find another organization that did not include its overhead. Of course, we're not paid or anything like that, but we still have to pay, pay for the police lessons, to buy bags, to buy tents, and to buy those sorts of things. I fundraise that independently so that we buy food from largely from the Capillary Food Bank, which gives us sub-wholesale prices. And then the county subsidies go into two companies that give us wholesale. So,
yeah, okay. So, so at the Capillary Food Bank, Stanley Foods and Sudano's give us produce. So we've raised from individual donors almost, I think a little over $240,000. Another $50,000 has come through grants and foundational things. We've also got in-kind of food donations from the Capillary Food Bank and from the Church of the Latter-day Saints. They gave us $10,000 in kind for food. So that's another $30,000. It does cost a lot of money to run this thing, but we keep it really down to just the really the bare bones in terms of the cost we have to pay. So that we will be going out for this holiday season with some direct mail and with some asks for you all. So keep your eye out for an email or a letter. We need your help. That's we've had out, like I mentioned, 350 to 400 people, as little as $10, or yeah, I've even got $5 donations to as much as $20,000. So it really works whatever people are capable of doing, and know that every cent goes to food, no overhead, every cent. That's pretty good. Thank you. Yes, Ellen. Yeah. Yes, so we're working. We're of course certainly been in touch with the Bethesda Cares, and we will continue to support them through our church. But we're always looking for ways where we can dovetail the strengths of Bethesda
Nourishing Bethesda with it. We haven't found it yet with Bethesda Cares, but we're always, they're one of our long-term, as is Samaritan Ministries. And so whenever there is something that really we can dovetail, where there are synergies, we just don't want to reinvent the wheel. We're not trying to kind of, So the question has to do with, do you want to answer that?
Sure, why not? I'll give it a try. We have, for the last 3 months, been asking people for their cell phone numbers. So we do have a record of people and a way to communicate with them. We also text on a weekly basis to remind them. And then we've also shared, we have a general Nourishing Bethesda email address that we've shared with them so that they know this change is coming, and we'll help so that the walk-up table, we're gonna get them started just kind of on site. The car line's a little trickier. I'll have to do that through texting and emailing. And folks that don't have a phone, we'll work with them and try to figure it out.
It brings up an interesting point with Waverly House. So we're getting into these communities that might not have phones, that might not have computers, that might not have anything like that. Sharon is, she just left. Okay, well, she's gonna miss me giving great kudos to her. Waverly House, we come into an interesting situation. Waverly House is a polyglot place where there are different, 50% of the people there speak either Mandarin or Russian. So to determine kind of need, Sharon put together a questionnaire in 6 different languages, so included Vietnamese, Korean, Spanish, Russian, Mandarin, English. So one of the things that we're dealing with is really, okay, not just the technology part of it, but really their primary source of communication. So we're really, and again, I'll underline the point that Beth made about dignity. This is what we're really working towards, to meet people on their ground. So that has been an ongoing, challenge, but something that we're rising to. And I know you had a comment too about working with other folks in the community.
I just wanted to answer your comment about Bethesda Cares. It was kind of interesting in the beginning of Nourishing Bethesda because we occasionally had some food left over, which we gave to them, and they themselves get food to deliver to their clients, and they on occasion had food left over, and they made several big contributions to us. So yeah, that's the kind of thing we try to do with everyone, right? Work in sync and share. So. And
we're counting on Ann is introducing us. It's hard for me to keep up with new people in our community and new possible partnerships. So it's fluid, and it's one of the dynamic things that's very exciting to me about gathering with somebody else, a faith community or service community, talking to the Rotary about this. We've got a wonderful program with the Bethesda Chamber of Commerce. They are gathering for the 5 Fridays in December to give out a range of, kind of festive things. As you know, the holiday season is a time when want really becomes particularly felt. So we really work hard, around the end of the year. It's not Christmas themed, it's holiday themed, but we do end up with giving a great chicken, a chicken and all the fixings for a nice dinner around just the week before Christmas. So there are pies, we've done wreaths, we've done gingerbread houses, we've done all sorts of things that really give people some joy in what can be, if you're pressed, a difficult time. So, but that's, again, something that's just very exciting. Cindy, yes?
I'm new to St. John's. I started coming in the summer, largely because the nave was open. But John Ross and the work Beth have done is what has really drawn me here. So I'm glad to be a part of Nourishing Bethesda. I volunteer with Sharon to go to Waverly House.
We are so grateful for your help, Sandy, and the chance to get to know you too. It really is just a treat to kind of rub shoulders with people and really engage deeply when we're doing things together. It just opens up whole new avenues of fellowship and communication. Cindy, thank you so much for everything. And you know, I think we're seeing that is a really important part of as how St. John's moves forward, not just Nourishing Bethesda, but some of our outreach programs and giving people, really we are beginning to be known in this community now for a place that does things. And people want to be a part of that. They really do. And so they're coming to St. John's, and that's how we grow. Do we have,
Should you guys hear me when you guys one more time with her?
Sure.
Oh, actually, there's a question coming through on the chat box.
Oh.
Thank you, Tom. Marjorie Wilson is asking that if local businesses have been approached to sponsor. The answer there is yes.
Yes, and it's just, I was mentioning that, yes, the question is, have we approached local businesses to help sponsor and support? And the answer is yes. We've done it in a range of things. Call Your Mama has delivered fresh chicken dinners in the order of 350 of them, a couple trucks worth. We've done this thing with, you know, with our holiday offerings. Just it's array. The fellow who runs Medium Rare just gave us can openers and serving spoons, because we figured we're giving out a lot of canned food and people need can openers. So whenever we ask, we started out, it's interesting, I will say that one thing that was a challenge at first, we started out with the idea that we wanted to give hot meals to people, prepared hot meals. And we started with that, working with a caterer, and the meals were about $3 or $4 a piece. And we could kind of handle it, but it was, you know. So the idea was, let's go in COVID to Bethesda restaurants and see if we can actually get them. It would be, you know, it would be wonderful to give them something to do in terms of we could pay them a little bit and then we could provide food. We had to drop that ultimately because we found that the price point was too high. Even $10 a meal for them wasn't covering their costs. So that was something that we kind of thought, wow, that was a great idea, but we really couldn't, it just didn't make a lot of sense dollars-wise. We have not gone after donated food, even though we get donated food sometimes. We have not gone after that, you know, in terms of the, you know, the grocery store or the farmer's market doing that, because that involves an entirely different kind of safety, food safety organization, you know, a lot of cold storage. We're working on that, but that kind of opens up a lot of different kind of things, which we felt really we're not in the best, you know, way, organizationally, safety-wise, all those things to make out, to account of. But yeah, so anyway, Howard Hughes is a great supporter of ours. They have a big medical complex. They have people who come, who give us money, raise money. We've had food drives, so that's moving away from the business community. But we've had 2 or 3 food drives, one for Lent, which was really successful. We had a mountain of food out in here, which we moved down to our pantry. And I have to tell you all, if you haven't seen it sometime, we must show you the youth group, the St. John's youth group was very, very generous and moved out and moved into some new places so that we could establish a pantry downstairs, 2 rooms, chock-a-block with peanut butter and tuna fish and milk and you name it. It's really quite a fun thing to see, so that we really have an ability to order food and then to kind of, when shipments don't come in, you know, and also one thing, and I'll just close, I think it's about time we close. We've kind of a little over, oh, sorry. But I do want to make an appeal that we're seeing prices, food prices go up, and I think you probably have if you've gone to the store. Food prices are going up. It's hitting us as we buy food. In addition, at the same time, a lot of the federally support assistance is drawing out for people. So there's kind of a double squeeze on people going on right now. Right before Christmas, we're seeing it in the faces of the people who come up, who are just getting squeezed. So we are fighting to stay vital, fighting to stay funded, and fighting to feed them, because that is something that we, as a church, I think, and as a group, have decided that we can't tolerate people being hungry in our community. So thank you very much, Mark. Wow, Mark, thank you. Yes, how do you donate? Well, nourishingbethesda.org is our website, and there is a donate page there. And we are a ministry of St. John, so we operate underneath the diocese 501c3. So basically the vestry is our board of directors, right? So we're all St. John's. So you actually donate to St. John's with Nourishing Bethesda earmarked. So you go on and the link, or you can go directly to the St. John's website and donate. And then there's a pull down of things you can give, and there's Nourishing Bethesda, and you do that. And when you give that way, or if you send a check in to the, to the office, you will get a tax-free, tax information letter at the end of the year, which is, is terrific, 100% tax deductible. So anyway, that is how you can give. Walter, and then. Thank you, Walter. I'm going to repeat really quickly. Walter's a member of the vestry and was bringing us up to date that there is on the books movement toward the St. John's in its operating budget, putting in our hard costs, which is those things I mentioned, and becoming part of the operating budget, and that your pledge would support that and would really give us just not even breathing room, but the ability to kind of carry on. So that's great. Thank you, Walter, for that update. Langdon? And then we better wrap it up. Yeah. Yes, on the check, thank you. On the check, I'm so bad at this. Put St. John's and then in the memo line, Nourishing Bethesda, and that will get to where it needs to get. Thank you all. I look forward to future conversations about this and seeing you all out there in the